Hello, my name is Pastor Dala Alfonso. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. You're probably wondering where that is. That is the geographical center of the United States. I met Pastor Sunday in August of 2003. I was at a very, very crucial point in my life where God moved my family and I from Nigeria to the United States. And he told me that he had called me to do a very significant work. Now, you know, being raised in a traditional church setting, the first thing I'm thinking about is get a few people together, start church, and then hope that the Lord will bless it. But that wasn't the case. I knew that God had called me to do something that was profound, something that even I could not comprehend. I knew I needed a father, I needed a mentor, I needed a teacher, I needed somebody who had done something like that. And I looked all over Christendom and I just couldn't see anybody or even think of anybody who had done something of that magnitude. And in February, when God began to speak to me about planning a church, I knew I had to have somebody because I was in America by myself and I didn't have the covering that I needed. In June of that same year, 2003, God told me to move to Columbus, Ohio, and we arrived August 14th, 2003 in Columbus, Ohio, and on August 17th, 3 days after we arrived, I met Pastor Sunday. I didn't even know he was coming to town. I didn't even know who he was up until that point. And by the grace of God, you know, I was astounded by the things he had done, but that wasn't what impressed me the most. What impressed me the most was his humility. What impressed me the most, what attracted me to him was his passion for God. He had this contagious love for God that you couldn't just help but wonder, are we talking about the same God here? And at that point, I just made up my mind that whatever it took, whatever it cost, I was going to find God the way this man did. And thank God for Pastor Sunday who opened the door. I was able to travel with him for years. And through those experiences, just learning from him and serving him and, you know, just seeing what God can do in an ordinary person, my whole life became transformed. I came to Ukraine first in 2007 and I've come here several other times. I think I've lost count of how many times I've been here. But to me, it's a refresher. It's a very, very worthwhile experience just to come and see thousands and thousands of lives of individuals, ordinary people, not just even ordinary people, people who had no hope before, you know, now changing and fabricating and molding the destiny of a nation. People who were hopeless before are now giving others hope. We're talking about people who otherwise you walk by the street and not even recognize that they're living. Today are the ones who are the model citizens in the society and making a change, and not just here in Ukraine, but also in the United States and in other parts of the world. Now, I came here for the History Makers training after pastoring a church for over 4 years in Omaha. And God has really blessed the work we've been doing, and some amazing things have been happening. God has opened up the world to us. You know, we have influence in politics and sports and business and the family and in all the various spheres of influence that the Lord has allowed us as a young church to get involved in. But coming to History Makers showed me that all of what we had done prior to now was almost like child play. It was almost as if one was irresponsible as a pastor. And I will tell you that you cannot come to History Makers and go back the way you came. You know, my experience has been that just learning about the principles of God in a very practical and tangible way, how God created the earth, how the earth in itself is intertwined with who we are, how laws define how things function, how life in itself and our callings and our destinies can be predicted. I mean, my mind was blown. And you know, even though I've been through HMT 1 and HMT 2, I'm still here, just coming back to get refired and get refreshed because the Word of God is alive and powerful. If you've never attended History Makers training or you've never been to Ukraine, believe me, it is worth more than any vacation or any retreat or any conference you can go to. Take the time, come on down to Ukraine and come see what God is doing for yourself and take a bit of that fire and go back home and change your nation and change your city and change your destiny for God. God bless you, and I hope that someday the world will also read about you.